Okay, Toronto, you ready for this? It's opening night at the Toronto International Film Festival. We got some special things for you. My name is Tom Powers. I'm the documentary programmer of the festival. Uh, 13 years I've been doing this, and it's the greatest time of the year. To begin, we want to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community. This film is eligible for the Grolsch People's Choice Award and the Grolsch People's Choice Documentary Award. You can vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. Just go online, tiff.net/vote. I want to thank Level Film, Briarcliff Entertainment, Claire Taylor, AGC Studios for providing us with this film. We've got a great theater on King Street, open 365 days a year, TIFF Bell Lightbox. This film, Fahrenheit 11/9, is going to open there on September 21st, but you are the first audience in the world to see it. We've got some special guests here that I want to bring out to stage, starting with executive producers Basil Hamden and Tia Lesson. The producers, Carl Deal and Megan O'Hara. And director and producer, Michael Moore.
Thank you for, oh, I love you too. I can't believe we're back here in Toronto again for a very special night. I want to bring out two of our co-producers too, Jeff Gibbs and Rob Burleson. Come on out here. And also the other two co-producers, Veronica Moore and Steve Reisner. Stand up and wait. We want to get started. I got two things to say. We were in the waiting area at LaGuardia a few hours ago and thinking about what's so special about Canada and why we are always drawn to come here and why we often showed our film here to you first. Partly it's because we want to say we lived to have one screening. Because you never know once we go back. Well, at least he got to show the film once in Toronto. But the other thing was, we were waiting to get on the plane, Tom, there in the waiting area at Air Canada. They do that pre-board thing, and the Canadian flight director person at the counter announces over the microphone, "We would like to board people with young children and musical instruments first." It just said so much about you. It's like, yes, we will have our children, but we will not cut the arts. And the last thing I want to say in dedicating this, while we're making this film, I said to everybody on the first day, we have to act like we're in the French Resistance now. The tanks are 20 miles outside of Paris. The sense of urgency for what we're all going through and for what we wanted to do with this film was profound. And before we start tonight, I would like to read a famous quote from one of the leaders of the French Resistance in the country that has French as its main language. Please forgive me, I only had a couple years of this in high school. Le crevé doit mieux pour donner naissance de intellectuels au service des misérables de la terre. I got a wow, though, from an English-speaking Canadian. I'll tell you what it said after the film. We'll take your questions. Tom and I will be up here. We have some special surprise guests afterwards, so stick around. Thank you, Tom. Thank you to this wonderful festival. Thank you to Canada for existing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to your Prime Minister, who I would love to see go. I'd love to see him go 3 rounds in the ring with our guy. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the show. We'll see you afterwards. Thank you.
Please welcome back Michael Moore.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to live.
I think we have some other special guests. Would you like to introduce them?
Yes, I'd like to bring up onto the stage from Flint, Michigan, the whistleblower who you saw in the film here, April Cook Watkins. April, where are you? Right here. Come on up. And please also welcome up to the stage the students from Parkland High School. David Hogg, Ryan Deach, Matt Deach, from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Thank you. I know you have questions. It's a Q&A and all that, but I'd like to give the microphone to them to speak. And if we have time, we'll take a couple questions. But I'd like to start with David Hogg here to say a few words. Thank you.
I have a question for you guys. Who's ready to save America? Who's ready to make America the country that we say it is on paper and make it the actual country that it wants to be? I think it's the most important thing to realize, however, is the problems that we face as a country. Whether it be water in Flint, Michigan, or the amount of mass incarceration of people of color that can't vote. In Florida, the amount of eligible African Americans that would otherwise be eligible to vote that can't because of a previous conviction is 21%. In Kentucky, it's 26%. In Mississippi and Alabama, it's 15 to 16%. These are people of color that have been historically discriminated against and still are to this day and have their voting rights taken away. It's exactly. Turn that shame into your vote if you're not Canadian. I think Canadians can donate to political campaigns in the United States. They can't? Well, vote here. Because learn from us. Don't let this happen here, because we need to come to you guys if we stay on this track.
Well, we were all on our way here today doing various scenes from The Handmaid's Tale because we were escaping to Canada. But you have to read the book or watch the show to know what I'm talking about. Most Canadians, I hope, know. April, please say a few words.
Well, first I want to thank you for shedding light on Flint and really making it an important part, and hopefully it can continue throughout and we can get the help that we need. I'm still a little emotional and overwhelmed with the video, so I think I'm gonna let my husband speak for me. Oh yeah, he is a pastor. Our church is Prince of Peace Church in Flint.
Again, as she stated, we truly thank Michael Moore for all of his work that he's do and continue to shine light on serious problems. I commend my wife, who, after she agreed that she would not falsify information, they gave her two choices: resign or get fired, because, as they said, she wasn't a team player. So she's always been a team player. She just wasn't on their team. She's always. She stood with the residents of the city, and we continue to fight that fight, and so I just commend her for doing an awesome job and for staying true to a city that is, as in the video, Michael said it best. We look at our reality as different from most, just because of things that we deal with on a daily basis. So sometimes our reality is a little bit different there. But in the midst of that reality, and you can be true and still believe in change, that's an awesome thing. And my wife believed in change, so I commend her greatly for that. Thank you.
I'll be perfectly honest. Before walking into this movie, before seeing any of this, I was thinking about which donuts I was going to get tomorrow morning at Tim Hortons. I've not been to Canada in a while, and they are good donuts. But after seeing this movie, after seeing everything on the screen, and seeing the part that we have played in this narrative, a lot needs to change. A lot needs to happen, and a lot just needs to get better. And it won't unless we do something. Doesn't matter if you're American. Doesn't matter if you're Canadian. You could be North Korean, and you can still want a better world for other people.
The film, and I've always applauded Michael Moore for this, it makes you look at the reality of what is going on right now. And I get emotional because the shooting was our sister's birthday, and she lost 3 friends that day. And before I saw the clip of Parkland, I did not know she was going to be in the film. She was in those rooms with the lawmakers in Florida at the Tallahassee, this Florida State Capitol, where they're comparing mass shootings to cutting grass. And I remember how defeated she felt coming back from that trip. And I remember talking to her about what she learned that day with our state legislators. And I remember feeling hopeful because her and her friends had realized how much they had failed them. And they were able to communicate that failure in such an impeccable way, in such an intelligent way, that we were able to communicate that with the rest of the country. And this summer we went on a 63-day road trip around this country with kids from all over America. And that is what the film looked like, is meeting these people in these communities and talking about the issues that affect all of us and not just some of us. And so this film needs to be seen by more people, and this film needs to inspire people to actually vote on November 6th. Because with youth registration up double digits in every single state, I know change is going to come November 6th.
So, Michael, some of your team were handing out red bandanas before the screening. Can you talk about why you wanted people to take away that red bandana?
Well, when I first came here with Roger and me, we brought those lint rollers, because after they stopped building cars in Flint, we started building lint rollers. And we thought, what could we bring here? Because we always want to bring gifts to the Canadians when we come here. So, so we thought the red bandana, what he said about that, and why they're proud of being rednecks, and that's where that term comes from. It's not because of the sun burning on their neck. It's that during the labor movement of the early part of the 20th century. And so we thought we'd bring that to you, and if you would like to wear one on the way out of here, we're on Facebook Live right now. So it's being broadcast to millions of people around the world, but especially in the United States right now. And if you will wear that on the way out if you feel so inclined, just to put it around your neck. We'll get that on Facebook Live, and we'll get a good look. I know it's like you're saying to David and to me and to others here, well, you know, what can we do? And you're right. You cannot. They can't give us money. They can support on Twitter and do all those other things, but because I actually once tried to give money here to candidates, and I got in trouble with the conservative government. They wanted to arrest me, but they're gone now. But anyway, so that's what they're for, and that's our gift to you. And we're going to do this throughout the release of the film. It'll be all across North America, and the amount of theaters. Can I just say this? We announced this movie on June 28th on Stephen Colbert. Nobody knew we were making this. We had kept it very quiet. And I went on there and announced the film and showed some clips. The following week, I was visited with people from the federal government showed up, and the IRS has decided to audit me. And I have never been audited in my entire career. And within 1 week of announcing this film and what we were going to do with the film, they were sick on me. Which I welcome this. So you're
going to show your tax forms.
Yeah, I am going to not only show my tax forms. No, here's the beauty. The beauty of the American IRS is I have told whoever does my taxes, since Roger and me, overpay. I take no deductions. I don't keep taxi cab receipts or any of that. I said just pay everything. Pay everything, which means I've overpaid. Which means when you're audited and they will discover that I have paid more taxes than I legally have to, they have to give me the money back with interest. With interest. So, and it's why people always ask me, don't you ever get audited? No, I've never been audited, because I think they checked and they saw, oh shit, we're gonna have to write him a check. We're not fucking auditing him, so. But you know, Trump is so small and so narrow-minded. A woman was making more than him on NBC. That's all it took for him to go, well, and so but no, yeah. So no, we can't. They can't give us money. Yeah.
This question, if to the IRS, if you're watching on Facebook, why aren't you auditing the President of the United States who likely got $30 million from Russia via the NRA? There's an active Department of Justice investigation into this that nobody's talking about. Also, we're still at war in Afghanistan. What the hell? Like, I'm 18 years old. That war was started 17 years ago. Think about that.
The other thing you guys told me when I was down there in Parkland is that, because we were talking about the millennials, like, were up into right before you were born. That's the millennial generation. I said, what's the name of your generation? And you said to me, we're the mass shooting generation, because those of us who are 17 or 18, were all born within 9 to 11 months after Columbine. And it was just so devastating to hear you refer to yourselves that way. But you just said it with such, that's just the way it is. And of course, that's not the way any of us want it to be. Yeah. Well, no, I'm against hope. Hope was back then with Obama. That was good. It's a generation of action. And let me tell you something. What these Florida kids did over the last month, they crisscrossed the state of Florida to get a man who won the Democratic primary, Andrew Gillum. He had 10 or 11%. He was running in the polls. He was number 4 or 5 down, and he won. A black man in Florida won the Democratic Party, in part because of what they did to get people out to the polls. So, you have time to take a couple questions? Or
we have to leave it there on a generation of action. There's a hashtag Fahrenheit 11/9. The film opens at TIFF Bell Lightbox on September 21st and across America that month. Michael Moore, thank you very much again for being back.
Thank you,
you for coming. Have a great festival.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you. Let's do something.